me up with that invite. And so here we are, spawning in the top left position as our red Terran player coming in for Evil Geniuses. It is ThorZaIN. And spawning in the bottom right position as our blue Protoss player is going to be, not actually sure if this is his team name or just a clan, it is Annexus Verdi. Just going to update the title of the stream very quickly. And yeah, another TvP on Akalon Wastes. This should be a pretty good match here. We saw some very interesting builds from ThorZaIN. I was briefly mentioning earlier how 4GG had some well-crafted builds against Protoss, but ThorZaIN also had a couple of very nice tricks up his sleeve that we saw earlier on, and I'm really curious to see if he's got any more cats in his bag to pull out of his hat or something like that. Building the supply depot now, but Terran versus Protoss on this map, most strategies can go. It's one of those anything goes maps. There's some space for blinkage. There's a lot of airspace for oracles as well as drops. The occasional hero banshee that we never hear of anymore. And yeah, so Verdi is just putting out these workers. Should take a gas at about 14 supply. He shall. And just want to once again thank all of you wonderful people for coming in to tune in so far to the DreamHack Stockholm Open 2013. We've had some amazing games, and we still have many, many more to come over the course of today and tomorrow. So definitely thanks for coming in here, supporting these players as well. And some of our sponsors, of course, for this event, ISO, Logitech, and Kingston HyperX. So this has been a really nice tournament and just really awesome stuff for everyone involved. But double gas now for Verdi. We do have ThorZaIN taking that 15 supply gas. He's going to be pulling for that macroeconomic style. And we actually saw ThorZaIN do a very interesting follow-up with Hellbats on a previous game on Belshir Vestige. So I'm quite curious. He did this build against Night End, and it worked very, very well. So I have to see if he's going to do something like that again. What the gas timing will be. He's producing these Marines. He should be starting a command center soon. The SCV is poised to do that. And another thing that ThorZaIN has been doing pretty well is sending these Marines out. Sends his first 2 Marines out to check for proxies every time, which can be a bit risky if your opponent does decide to go for a very fast Stalker. He can catch your Marines on the field, pick them off, and well, you can pretty much just lose the game early on if you get hit with a fast Zealot Mothership Core poke. So he's not really terribly worried about, though. Reactor is coming up now. He's going to get that second gas, and I feel like we're going to see a factory, and then that Armory and Starport combination again with the Hellbat drop. And it worked reasonably well. The Hellbats didn't really do any damage tonight, and what killed him was the follow-up. And if ThorZaIN goes for the same follow-up this game, I'm very interested to see how Verdi is going to be able to hold this off, because ThorZaIN made use of a very interesting tactic with just basically, in all of his medevacs, he put his Hellbats and he just dropped them behind the opponent's army so that he couldn't kite away. And it actually worked surprisingly well. But Verdi is getting out of Stalker. He's got his Mothership Core. He's going to be building a Sentry as well. And he's taking an expansion, so he's not taking any big risks. He did the double gas expand. He doesn't want to have to deal with anything like super fast Widow Mines, or at least get killed by them. And he will be getting a robotics facility as well to make sure that they are not a threat in this game. Starport is on the way. We may have that armory, and there it is for ThorZaIN. Very interesting build. You can go make all of the Protoss players on ladder rage with this sort of build. And with the factory as well, he could, of course, always get a Widow Mine if he was worried about anything. And he's actually just going to throw this factory onto the reactor. We could see 2 Hellions for scouting, or we could just see 2 fast Widow Mines. The world is ThorZaIN's oyster at this point, and 2 Widow Mines it shall be. This does give him a lot of options, though, because he can actually just make 1 medevac, go out with the Marines and the mines first, and then follow up with the Hellbats. But Verdi, not taking any chances. He's actually realized, well, I'm saturated on my main base. I'm okay with long-distance mining from my natural. It's more cost-effective that way. But now the natural is done for Verdi. The Mothership Core is going to be going home, checking around for anything weird inside of his opponent's base. But there wasn't any too much to see. He actually doesn't know really what ThorZaIN's doing. And the first 2 Hellbats are in production for our Swedish Terran player. This is going to be a pretty interesting to see how Verdi deals with this. Stimpack is on the way. He's getting Marines out still. First medevac is going to pop for ThorZaIN. The armory Not receiving any upgrades yet, but there are those Hellbats, and ThorZaIN's going to send this medevac out, and this is going to be his chance to try to do some very powerful early damage. Now, the mineral line of the natural for Verdi is quite well set up. He's pretty much completely prepared for any kind of fast drop play. Not as much in the main base, but he does have Photon Overcharge. He does have the Observer there as well, and he's going to be getting a Forge and a Twilight Council, which is also interesting to see out of Verdi. He's kind of foregoing a lot of early faster tech, at least. He's going to be getting a Phoenix Hallucination to scout out and see what's going on. And, well, here comes the medevac with the Hellbats. Verdi, is he going to be able to hold this? He sees it immediately. He's going to attack, and ThorZaIN's going to drop right on top of this. He kills the sentry, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get too much more. So Verdi will be able to hold this off reasonably well. He didn't take too much damage, and ThorZaIN traded a medevac and 2 Hellbats for really not that much. He's only killed 2 probes this game. He did manage to take out a Zealot and a Sentry, but really nice defense so far. And he needs to make sure he doesn't lose those, because a large part of his build, a large part of his timing really relies on this production of a lot of constant Hellbats and going for the bio flip timing. So every medevac and Hellbat that he loses is actually pretty significant. He's going to try to go in for another drop, but there's still units here to defend this, and I feel like unless he's dropping directly onto sentries, trading is not going to be very effective for him. And there he goes. He's going to drop again right on top of the sentries, and he's going to be able to kill them immediately. So it's not terrible for ThorZaIN. He's actually going to get a couple of probe kills with this. So now that he's actually killed this much, he's kind of justified this. He got three probes and 2 sentries there. So this is going to make ThorZaIN's follow-up, though, very, very powerful. I think what he really wants to do is bait out the Photon Overcharge so that he can just kind of dive in here with his push. And if this drop baits the Photon Overcharge, his follow-up biotiming, his stim is about to complete. He could do a lot of damage with this. He's actually repairing the medevacs. He's getting ready to go again, it seems. And there comes the drop in the main base. The probes are left to free fire. And now, Photon Overcharge activated. ThorZaIN can just get up and leave. And now he should. This is the ultimate timing for him to go for his bio push. And there the mines have been uprooted. And here he goes, pulling the SCVs as well. Not pulling a crazy amount, but pulling just enough to ensure that he's got a sizable buffer. And this is the problem here now. There's only 1 sentry. He doesn't have enough force fields to cover this ramp. He's getting a Twilight Council. He's so far away from any AoE tech. He's got charge coming, but there are Hellbats on the field. He's got no Photon Overcharge to deal with this. And this is going to be... I don't see any way Verdi's going to be able to stop this push from ThorZaIN. This is such a strong timing. I'm kind of curious if he's going to just load up all his Hellbats and the medevacs again and just drop them behind the army, and he is. This timing coming from ThorZaIN is going to boost the medevacs over, drop the Hellbats right on top of the forces so that they cannot retreat. And ooh, here ThorZaIN comes. The Hellbats doing so much damage. The Zealots get lit up like Christmas trees, and there is nothing Verdi can do to stop this. He has lost so much, dipping almost below half supply now of ThorZaIN so fast. What a powerful timing from this Evil Genius's Terran. The charge lots are trying to come in here and deal some damage. He needs to get back towards the Hellbats. These are the units that deal with the charge lots so well, and he is going to be able to push in here. This Photon Cannon should go down as well, and ThorZaIN doing massive amounts of damage, unleashing the pain on his opponent's natural expansion. He's trying to warp in an Archon, getting behind these Hellbats with his forces, and the charge lots are just not enough to deal with this. He doesn't have enough firepower to hold on here. And, well, the Archon is going to be able to throw in a lot of extra DPS. He has lost his natural expansion. The Marines and Marauders are fighting for their lives. The Hellbats will be targeting down the Zealots. He lifts them up a little bit of dropship micro here with these Hellbats on top of this. And LOL comes from Verdi. That's going to be game number 1 for ThorZaIN in this TvP best of 3. And you can kind of see the frustration. Man, I guess group stage round 3 is really it's the group stage of frustration. But that timing is so strong. I can guarantee I'm going to be doing that a lot on ladder. And ThorZaIN, you know, he burned the Photon Overcharge on that Mothership Core, and as soon as he used that, and that Mothership Core had no energy, and it used it on the main Nexus, ThorZaIN knew, it's like, hey man, I'm just gonna basically kill you with just Hellbats and Marines and Marauders, and it worked pretty damn well. So we'll have to see what Verdi has in store for game number 2. We already have an invite to the next lobby, so we'll be getting into that very, very shortly, guys. I'm Nathanias, bringing you the DreamHack Stockholm Open 2013. Now you just enjoy yourself and wait for the next game.